Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Karen Ware Jackson, and I am one of your senior co-pastors here at First Presbyterian. And I am blessed to be meeting today with Georganne Perry. Georganne, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your involvement with First Presbyterian?
Well, I am a sister, a daughter, a wife, a mother. I have three daughters. Um, I'm retired, and I retired about a year before the pandemic started. So I feel like I'm still trying to get my groove with
Mm-hmm.
um, my involvement at FPC has been I've served as an elder twice. I've taught Sunday school, adult and children. Um, I've been moderator of Presbyterian Women. I have chaired Mayfest a couple of times. I have chaired Neighbor to Neighbor. Um, and I'm a member of the Prayer Shawl group, which is great because it's been my main socialization for the last year. We
Mm-hmm.
did it for a while, but we're meeting now in the Welcome Center spread out. But I think it's been a blessing to all of us to be able to get together.
I'm so glad to hear that. I've been wondering, we were talking this year, our Lenten series is about hope beyond the pandemic. But I'm wondering, what has gotten you through this last wild year of
Yeah.
pandemic life?
Um, I would say that when it first started, when it first became really real for all of us, my comment when people would say how awful it was, I would think back to the movie Anne Frank, The Diary of Anne Frank, and I would just say, we don't have it as bad as they had. We can move around. And I'm speaking, I know there are others that are having a very hard time, but I could move around. I had my house, I had my yard. Haven't gotten any good hugs from grandchildren or children, and I look forward to that. But we just, I think we've, I think Americans have become spoiled, and the pandemic is bad, and it's been a horror story for many people. But we're so fortunate. We are so fortunate and so blessed.
Mm. That reminds me that this week we are talking really specifically about humility and how humility is the first step on the discipleship journey, recognizing that we can't go it alone and that we need God. And I'm wondering, what have you seen? How have you experienced humility or something humbling, maybe this last year, or it could even be before then? Is there a time you can think where you had to come to terms with the fact that you couldn't do what you wanted to do?
Um, I was talking to a friend from church yesterday, and Derek and I have enjoyed many blessings in our lives and our life together. We've also encountered a number of challenges. At this time, 13 years ago, I was in the hospital and not expected to get out. And I did. And
Wow.
after I got out and was getting better, he lost a job. And so the silver lining I found And you have to, this friend was saying, you always look for the silver lining, but you do. And it's always there if we will take time to look. That is how God blesses us. But I wasn't sick and Derek didn't lose his job at the same time. It was sequential, but it didn't pile on us, and had to keep thinking. He never puts a burden on you that he thinks you can't bear. And I don't know if either of us could have stood both of those at the same time. We've gone through, as all parents do, heartaches with children. And when the pandemic really got going, we had something come up with a child, and that was the hard thing, not being able to get to that child when I felt like she needed her mother and her mother needed her. So, but then you have to look at the big picture and say, if that's all we had to get through, and we got through it by the grace of God, we're so fortunate. Last night there was a memorial for the people who have lost their lives in this pandemic, and we're not one of them. We're not one of them, and we've not had anyone close to us that we've lost. The friend I was talking to has had COVID, and she says it's no joke. She's still recovering. So, yes, God blesses us in so many ways. We may look back, and it may take a while, but we may look back and see this horrid pandemic as a blessing. I think back to when I was in college, the year before I graduated, I had a sibling who took her life. And we didn't know what to do with that. And once you can move away from the act, I think that what that did, through her action, God brought the 5 left behind much closer together. My thing to tell my children is, I don't recall my father ever face to face saying, I love you, until after that event. And then we never hung up the phone, parted ways, anything without saying, I love you. And I think those are the things, the positives that you take with you. And there's so much hope once this is over. So much
Tell
hope.
us about that. Tell us about what your hope for the future is.
My hope is I will not forget it. And once this over, just go, done. But remember that there are still people who will be suffering because of the repercussions. There are always people out in the community, and you really don't have to step further than your community to find ways to help. And that's one thing that Derek and I both have loved about FPC is the mission. Always looking for ways to serve the community. To me, that's what it's all about. I heard someone on TV say the other day, people who are discouraged, about whatever, the pandemic, life in general, politics, whatever. They just need to get a red letter Bible and
Mm,
read the red letters to know what to do and how to do it. And I thought, wow, that is so simple, but so profound.
mhm. I agree. It has been a real blessing to talk with you today and for you to share some of your story and how this last year has affected you. You are a blessing to our congregation, and we thank all of you for joining us. And we hope to see you around sometimes on Sundays as people are getting their vaccines. It's such a beautiful thing. We get to
We
see
we've
some
had
more folks.
so we'll be back soon.
Yeah. We wish all of you a day that is full of peace and purpose. Bye, friends.